Morning, welcome back to the Twits. I wonder if you can remember what happened last time. We just read chapter 22, where Mugglewump, the monkey, had an idea, and he'd got the roly-poly bird and all of the other monkeys to go inside the Twits' house, and they'd collected all of the super sticky glue. Do you remember? So this is chapter 23, The Great Glue Painting. "This is the living room," announced Mugglewump, "the grand and glorious living room, where those two fearful frumptious freaks eat bird pie every week for supper." "Oh, please don't mention bird pie again," said the roly-poly bird. "Oh, it gives me the shudders." "We mustn't waste time," cried Mugglewump. Hurry up now. The first thing is this. I want everyone to paint sticky glue all over the ceiling. Cover it all, smear every corner." "Over the ceiling," they cried. "Why the ceiling?" "Never mind why," shouted Mugglewump. "Just do as you're told and don't argue." "But how do we get up there?" they asked. "We can't reach." "Monkeys can reach anywhere," shouted Mugglewump. He was in a frenzy of excitement now, waving his paintbrush and his bucket and leaping about all over the room. Come on, jump on the table, stand on the chairs, hop on each other's shoulders. Roly-Poly can do it flying. Don't stand there gaping, we have to hurry. Don't you understand that? Those two terrible twits will be back any moment, and this time they have guns. Get on with it, for heaven's sake, get on with it. There they are with all of their glue. And there's Mugglewump, he's very, very excited, isn't he? And so the great glue painting of the ceiling began. All the other birds who had been sitting on the roof flew in to help, carrying paintbrushes in their claws and beaks. There were buzzards, magpies, rooks, ravens, and many more. Everyone was splashing away like mad, and with so many helpers, the job was soon finished. I wonder if you can work out what they might do now that they've painted glue all over the ceiling. Chapter 24, the carpet goes on the ceiling. "What now?" they all said, looking at Mugglewump. "Aha!" cried Mugglewump. "Now for the fun. Now for the greatest upside-down trick of all. Are you ready?" "We're ready," said the monkeys. "We're ready," said the birds. "Pull out the carpet," shouted Mugglewump. "Pull this huge carpet out from under the furniture and stick it onto the ceiling." "Onto the ceiling?" cried one of the small monkeys. "But that's impossible, Dad." "I'll stick you to the ceiling if you don't shut up," snapped Mugglewump. "He's dotty," they cried. "He's balmy, he's batty, he's nutty, he's screwy, he's wacky," cried the roly-poly bird. "Poor Muggles has gone off his one pat last." They think he's gone bonkers, don't they? "Oh, do stop shouting such rubbish and give me a hand," said Mugglewump, catching hold of one corner of the carpet. "Pull, you nitwits, pull!" The carpet was enormous. It covered the entire floor from wall to wall. It had a red and gold pattern on it. It's not easy to pull an enormous carpet off the floor when the room is full of tables and chairs. "Pull!" yelled Mugglewump. "Pull, pull, pull!" He was like a demon hopping around the room and telling everyone what to do. But you couldn't blame him. After months and months of standing on his head with his family, he couldn't wait for the time when the terrible twits would be doing the same thing. At least that's what he'd hoped. With the monkey and the birds all pulling and puffing the carpet, it was dragged off the floor and finally hoisted up onto the ceiling. And there it stuck. All at once, the whole ceiling of the living room was carpeted in red and gold. Chapter 25, the furniture goes up. "Now the table, the big table," shouted Mugglewump. "Turn the table upside down and put a dollop of sticky glue on the bottom of each leg. Then we shall stick it onto the ceiling as well." Hoisting the huge table upside down onto the ceiling was not an easy job, but they managed it in the end. "Will it stay there?" they cried. "Is the glue strong enough to hold it up?" "It's the strongest glue in the world," Mugglewump replied. "It's the special bird-killing glue for smearing on trees." "Oh, please," said the roly-poly bird. "I've asked you before not to mention that subject. How would you like it if it was monkey pie they made every Wednesday and all your friends had been boiled up and I went on talking about it? Ooh. I do beg your pardon, said Mugglewump. I'm so excited I hardly know what I'm saying. Now the chairs do the same with all the chairs. All the chairs must be stuck upside down onto the ceiling. And in their right places. Oh, do hurry up, everybody. Any moment now, those two filthy freaks are going to come rushing in with their guns. Must be quite tricky, mustn't it, to get a table to stick to the ceiling? This is not really one to try at home. The monkeys, with the birds helping them, put the glue on the bottom of each chair leg and hoisted them up to the ceiling. Now the smaller table, shouted Mugglewump, and the big sofa, and the sideboard, and the lamps, and all the tiny little things, the ashtrays, the ornaments, and that beastly plastic gnome on the sideboard. Absolutely everything must be stuck to the ceiling. It was terribly hard work. It was especially difficult to stick everything onto the ceiling in exactly its right place. But they got it done in the end. What now? Asked the roly-poly bird. He was out of breath and he could hardly flap his wings. Now the pictures, cried Mugglewump. Turn all the pictures upside down. And will one of you birds please fly out onto the road and watch to see when those frumptuous freaks are coming back? I'll go, said the roly-poly bird. I'll sit on the telephone wires and keep guard. It'll give me a rest. Chapter 26, The Ravens Swoop Over. They had only just finished the job when the roly-poly bird came swooping in, screaming, They're coming back! They're coming back! Quickly the birds flew back onto the roof of the house. The monkeys rushed into their cage and stood upside down, one on top of the other. A moment later, Mr. and Mrs. Twit came marching into the garden, each carrying a fearsome-looking gun. Oh, I'm glad to see all those monkeys are still upside down, said Mr. Twit. There they are. They're too stupid to do anything else, said Mrs. Twit. Hey, look at all those cheeky birds still up there on the roof. Let's go inside and load our lovely new guns. Then it'll be bang, 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 and bird pie for supper. Just as Mr. and Mrs. Twit were about to enter the house, two black ravens swooped over their heads. Each bird carried a paintbrush in its claw, and on each paintbrush was smeared with sticky glue. I wonder if you can work out what they're about to do. As the ravens whizzed over, they brushed a streak of sticky glue on the tops of Mr. and Mrs. Twit's heads. They did it with the lightest touch, but even so the Twits both felt it. What was that? Cried Mrs. Twit. Some beastly bird has dropped its dirty droppings on my head. Yeah, on mine too, shouted Mr. Twit. I felt it. Don't touch it, cried Mrs. Twit. You'll get it all over your hands. Come inside and we'll wash it off at the sink. The dirty, filthy brutes, yelled Mr. Twit. I'll bet they did it on purpose. Just wait till I've loaded up my gun. Mrs. Twit got the key from under the doormat where Mugglewump had carefully replaced it, and into the house they went. So next time, we're almost at the end actually, next time is chapter 27, The Twits Are Turned Upside Down. See you next time.